Some Pokemon can only be male, while other Pokemon were born to slay. Which is not to say that male Pokemon can't be divas. I mean, have you seen Pheasantipity? Today, I will be using a full team of female-only Pokemon, or as I'm calling it, the girlies. If you have an idea for a Pokemon team, be sure to comment below, and I will use it. And if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. Now let's get right into the battles. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, lovely people. Today I am using a female-only Pokemon team, or as I'm calling it, a Girlypop team. Special thank you to Anna for this team idea, and I have two interesting battles to showcase. This is also my 50th theme team overall, which is crazy. We're halfway to 100, so if you like this theme team content, be sure to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. So, I'm gonna poltergeist this lead camera up. I honestly expected them to want to set up like stealth rocks on this lead, but they end up taking me out with flamethrower. Now, I'll go over that Frostlass a little later because this team was really rough. So I'm gonna take out the camera up with my Illumise or my Illumise. Raise your hand if you thought you pronounced it Illumise. So this is a Choice Specs tinted lens Illumise. Now, this Pokemon normally runs on Prankster. I also want to give this Pokemon some appreciation because no one ever uses Illumise, so I thought I'd fit it into this female-only Pokemon team. Now, in comes Blissey. Now, the Dragonite is going to set up a Dragon Dance versus me, and I thought, okay, well, that's scary, but I'm running an offensive Blissey with Blizzard, and I'm going to be able to hit it, thankfully, and take out the Dragonite. That's really good. So, this is a Calm Mind Blissey. I have Terra Blast, Thunder, and Blizzard, and I have Terra Ghost on this, which, yeah, I didn't go for versus the Metagross, because I was worried about what this Metagross was going to have, because if it had, like, Heavy Slam or something, then that would have outright KO'd my Blissey, and that would have been a waste of a Terra, so that's why I didn't Terrasilize that turn. I didn't expect a Body Press to come out from this. I kind of expected, like, Meteor Mash. If it was offensive, it would have taken me out there, so I'm going to pivot into my defensive Serena here. Now, this is a max defense Serena. I have Rapid Spin with Heavy Duty Boots because my team really needed the hazard support and the hazard removal, and I had U-Turn Power Whip and Synthesis. Now, I'll go over the Terra on that Pokemon later. Into my Salazzle here. Man, this team is full of Pokemon that are just absolutely slaying. So, this is a physical Salazzle. I'm going to be able to knock off the Blastoises, and it's going to have the White Herb. So, I'm like, okay, well, this thing is definitely like a Shell Smash Blastoise. I'm thinking that they might go for a Water move this turn, so they actually end up going for a Shell Smash on my swap. So, I'm like, geez, well, that's a problem. I have this Serena though, and I'm running this is pretty interesting. I'm running Terra Normal on this. Now, I forgot to change the Terra because this was originally a different set. This was originally like a Trailblaze Flail Serena, but I changed it to like being more of like a bulky Serena, and well, the Terra Normal is, I mean, it's going to boost Rapid Spin, that's nice, but I'm actually going to be able to live. I actually lived a critical hit from that, wow, and I'm going to be able to Power Whip it and take it out, thankfully, so I'm like, okay, well, that's one Shell Smash Sweeper gone, so in comes the Alola Ninetales, so I'm like, well, they're definitely not going to set up Aurora Veil or anything, so I thought, well, there really isn't much I could do versus this, so I might as well just pivot out and go for the U-turn. If they wanted to take me out, that was fine, because I did have my Salazzle that could go for, like, Gung Shot in the back, so I'm going to bring in my Salazzle now. This is a Dragon Dance Salazzle. Now, I'm not running a Corrosion on this, I'm running Oblivious, which is going to be able to block Intimidate, which, is actually pretty useful for a physical Salazzle. Now, in comes the Torterra here. This is the second Shell Smash Pokemon. Now, I definitely misplayed around this thing. So, I'm going to go for the Fire Lash. I'm going to drop its defense, and they're going to opt to Terrasilize. So, I'm like, okay, well, unfortunately, they're Terra Ground, and I thought that they would probably be like Terra Steel or Terra Ice even. So, I'm just going to go on another Fire Lash versus this. I do some good damage, even though the Aurora Veil is, like, annoying, and obviously, they're going to set up a Shell Smash in front of me. Now, this was where things were a little weird, because I really needed this Salazzle to help deal with the Alola Ninetales, and, you know, I could be able to potentially set up on it, but I also could, like, use it for Metagross especially. So, this turn I thought, well, they probably have Rock Blast, so I'm going to sacrifice my Serena here, obviously, because it's on a low amount of health. I don't think I could get off a Synthesis against anything, especially with the Alola Ninetales setting up the Snow on me. So, I was like, okay, well, if this So the thing about this turn is, I'm going to explain why I swapped in Florges here. So, if this Pokemon had a Headlong Rush and it got a defense drop, I would be able to take it out next turn with the Blissey, because right now, my Blissey's Blizzard isn't going to be able to take it out. So, I thought they would have a Terra Ground Headlong Rush, but it turned out to be Earthquake, and I still got taken out by that. So, I have a Custap Berry on this Blissey. Now, I knew that Blizzard wasn't going to be able to take it out, so I thought, okay, well, that's really unfortunate. But I get a Freeze! Oh my gosh, I just got ratted out big time there, and they're actually going to end up staying frozen the next turn, so I'm going to be able to take them out with the Terra Blast. This is Serene Grace, by the way, so it had a 20% chance, but it was still just so lucky, because I definitely lost from the position that I was in, because obviously everything was getting outsped and taken out. Well, depending on what the Torterra's last move was against my Salazzle, because they went for Bullet Seed on my Serena, so I don't know if they had a... they probably did have loaded dice for Bullet Seed, but I don't know if they had a Rock Blast or like a Rock Move or anything. So, I'm going to be able to damage this Ninetales. They actually went for the Aurora Veil, interestingly, but the Aurora Veil is going to wear off, so now they're going to be able to go for it this turn. So, I was like, dang, I could have went for a Calm Mind, but I was worried about this Alola Ninetales having Encore, because pretty much every Alola Ninetales runs Encore, and like, if I'm locked into a setup move, then that's really bad for me. So, this turn I thought, well, I'm just going to go right for the Fire Lash here, try to get as much damage on this as I possibly can, see if it has anything for me, and it only has Moonblast, so I'm like, okay, well, I imagine this thing might have like Moonblast and like Blizzard or Freeze Dry and maybe Encore as its last move, so I decided to get off one Dragon Dance versus this thing, thinking that it wasn't going to be doing a lot to me. It's going to go for the Blizzard. Blizzard does a lot to me, actually. Salazzle doesn't really have that good defense, so I'm going to be able to take it out with the Fire Lash, but the thing is, they have the Metagross in the back with a Veil. I'm not sure if it's like a fully physically defensive Metagross because they have Body Press, but Fire Lash isn't really going to do a lot to it because of the Veil. And, yeah, that's going to take me out, unfortunately. And, like, the thing is, like, I sacrificed my Florges earlier on, but I don't think that would have mattered in the endgame because there was no way I was like getting past this Pokemon with the set that I had, which I will go into in this next battle. This team was like, seriously, this team was like really, really rough. This was probably, I guess it's fitting for the 50th Theme Team, but this was the team that I spent the most amount of battles with, but it also made my brain melt because there was, oh my god, I had so many bad battles with this team. It was just torture. It was actually torture. Like, I guess if there was anything I learned, it was that knockoff actually activates weakness policy. It doesn't actually knock it off, so, there's that. So, into this next battle here. Now, I'm gonna trick this Spiritomb, Choice Specs. Now, this Illumise has, Bug Buzz, it has Thunderbolt, U-Turn, and, it has Trick, obviously. So, in comes the Heatran. I'm also running Terra Bug on this with really powerful Terra Bug Buzzes. Now, this Heatran is going to 4 times resist, but it still does okay damage. It still does some nice chip. I actually was able to 2-hit KO Scizor with this Illumise Choice Specs Bug Buzz. So there's that, I guess. So I thought, well, the Spiritomb burned me, and I thought, well, I'm not really going to be doing much to this Heatran anyway. And you know, Blissey has a lot of HP and special defense, so I don't know if I'm going to necessarily win this 1v1 because I am assuming it's like a more offensive Heatran because they were on a balloon. But I figured I might as well get as much damage as I possibly can. And if I weaken this Pokemon, it's actually going to be really good for my Florges in the endgame, which you're going to see in this battle. So, I unfortunately missed my Thunder against this thing. And they're going to continuously chip me with like Magma Storm and like Earth Power. They actually get a special defense drop on top of that. So, they're also going to have Heat Wave on their set as well. So, luckily, I land my next Thunder, and I'm like, okay, well, am I going to be able to paralyze this thing? I don't get a power, though, but they do put me in Custap Berry range for, because of the Magma Storm damage. I love Custap Berry so much. It's such a fun item. So, I'm going to go for another Thunder. This is max special attack, so it's really doing some good damage to this Heatran, although not a lot, but I do get a paralysis, which is nice. So, I'm like, okay, well, definitely going down to, like, the Magma Storm plus Earth Power here, but Blissey did as much as she possibly could, so I'm proud of her. So, to my Illumise, like, maybe I should have swapped in my Salazzle here because I was on a balloon, but I kind of forgot that my Choice Specs was like gone because I tricked it away, and they land a Magma Storm through paralysis. That's not possible. So there goes my Illumise, but now I finally am able to put it in range for my Salazzle to come in and take out the Heatran at the very least. So I'm gonna go for the knockoff and take it out to actually get a critical hit. I should have swapped this in before the Illumise. So in comes the Landorus Theory, and I was like, okay, well, they have a classic core. Heatran plus Landorus. Look at that, I have blocked the Intimidate. So I'm gonna go for the knockoff here. I wasn't sure what this Landorus was running, but I knew that if it was running Stone Edge, there was no point in me like terrestrializing, because I have Terra Flying on this, and I still have my Air Balloon. So I'm actually able to knock off a Choice Scarf. I was thinking, how did I outspeed if it was Choice Scarf? They must not be running any speed. I'm actually not even sure what this Landorus is, because it went for a Sandsteer Storm against my Air Balloon, which, I mean, fair enough. Like, some people forget about the Air Balloon pop-up text, and like they just click a ground move versus me, which is pretty funny when that happens. But I actually am able to take it out with the Salazzle. I don't even know how I won that matchup. So they had Outrage, which is interesting. So in comes my the Serena here against the Greninja. I thought that I could like potentially like pivot into like a water move, but they end up going for extra sensory, which does a lot of damage. I was like, okay, well, judging by the damage that this thing did to me, it's most certainly like Choice Specs, right? So this Frostlass, oh my god. So this is a Choice Scarf Frostlass, which I'm gonna be able to take out with the Poltergeist, but I'm telling you, this thing was like biggest contributor to my frustration with this team, because it has two moves that were just like terrible. It has Poltergeist, which, oh my god, that move. And like it has triple axle, or more like single axle, because that thing only hits like one time. So I'm actually gonna be able to live the Choice Specs Shadow Ball from the Spiritomb, and I'm gonna get as much damage as I possibly can with the Power Whip before I'm taken out there. But I thought, okay, well, the stage is set for my Florges to finally come in and hopefully like sweep in the end game now that the Heatran is gone. So I am running pretty interesting Florges set on this team. So this is a Calm Mind Florges. I'm actually not running like Synthesis or any healing moves. Well, I am running Draining Kiss on this, and I'm running Stored Power with Calm Mind, and I'm running Trailblaze to boost my speed, and I'm also running a Weakness Policy as the item on this. So the idea is to start boosting as much as possible and even boost my speed so I can outspeed like potential Pokemon that could be faster than me. Cresselia freaking drops my special attack. So I'm going to go for the Trailblaze, and because I need to outspeed the last Pokemon that they have in the back, which is a Darkrai, which is going to be very speedy. And if that thing is like Nasty Plot Hypnosis, or like it has Sludge Bomb, it could be a problem. So I'm running Terra Psychic on this as well to boost my stored powers here. I wasn't sure if the Cresselia had Calm Mind of its own, or if it was like a Demon Cosmic Power set, but it's going to go for some Moonblast here. So they're going to continuously try to stop my special attack. Now, I knew that I didn't have a recovery move on this like Synthesis, so I just knew that once I showed off that I had a Draining Kiss, I would be able to maybe force this Pokemon out. So I was thinking here, okay, this is like perfect setup for me. They also had Future Sight on their set as well, which doesn't really do too much to me anyway. So I'm just gonna take this as an opportunity for me to continuously set up Calm Mind versus this thing. By the way, this Pokemon is like such a gorgeous Pokemon, can I just say. It's like I chose all the Pokemon on this female only team because I wanted to use Pokemon with all like completely different types, which is why I have like Pokemon like Illumise on this team, because obviously it's like I didn't want to repeat any typings on this team. There's a lot of fairy type Pokemon that are like female only. Like if I do another one of these teams, by the way, leave a like, by the way, if you want to see another female only team, because there's like other iconic Pokemon like Tinkaton that I haven't used yet, or like Vespiquen, Mandibuzz, Alcremie. I'm just trying to think of all the ones off the top of my head. Nidoqueen isn't in this game, unfortunately. So they're gonna bring in the Spiritomb, seeing that I had Draining Kiss and I'm basically recovering all of my health back, and I'm gonna be able to give it a little smooch. How do you kiss a Spiritomb? And I'm gonna be able to recover my health and also take it out in one turn. So I'm like, okay, well, this thing is like poised to win in this endgame. So in comes the Darkrai. This was basically the reason why I went for a Trailblaze, because I'm going to be able to outspeed it and take it out with the Draining Kiss thanks to all my Calm Mind boosts. I don't even know how many Calm Mind boosts I have, to be honest. I just kind of yapped. But the last Pokemon is the Cresselia, and I'm going to be able to go for the Terra Psychic here on my Florges. I basically had two types of games with this team. I either had games where I swept with this Pokemon, or where I just lost badly. Like, this team was really, 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 really rough. It doesn't even look like it would be like a team that would be like super rough either. I'm just like, as a player, like as someone who plays this game, I'm just not as much of an expert when it comes to battling as like other like Pokemon YouTubers that do this kind of battle content. So like I know that there's a lot that I can improve on when it comes to my games, like especially with the first game in terms of like what I could have kept around. But that's gonna be the end of both games. Thank you all so much for watching. I should stop self-doubting myself, to be honest. I do that way too much in these types of videos. My name is SkyLaaa. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you all next time.